To have you back in Memphis at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Well, we're glad to be here.
As you might recall, one of our traditions here at this press conference is always to ask the two coaches, first, being in Memphis, young Elvis or old Elvis? Which do you prefer and why?
You know, we went to Las Vegas, and we went to an Elvis impersonating show. You know, it was the greatest thing. They had 13 Elvises. They had big old Elvis, young Elvis, this, that. And I kind of like the old Elvis, you know, myself, even though I liked the movies when he was young. I think maybe it was because the girls in it, but he was good too. But I think I'd say the old Elvis, and I think that night there in Vegas, the old Elvis won the whole deal too.
Obviously, in Memphis, it's about the music. It's also about the food, the barbecue. So for you, dry ribs or wet ribs?
You know, I kind of like the dry myself, and so there was only one or two answers, so dry would be the answer.
And to bring it back a little bit more serious, folks, we lost our good friend Bob Holt with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette just a few weeks ago. Great friend to a lot of you, certainly with us, me personally, Coach. We miss Bob. Everybody in the SEC is missing and will miss Bob. He was an institution. So, Sam, in honor of Bob,
Yeah.
if he were here, sitting on the front row, what would his first question to you be?
Well, it'd be, hey, Sam, how you doing? That'd be the first thing that would happen. And he'd wait for the response. And I'd be like, I'm awful, Bob. I feel terrible. You know, no, I'd say, great. And he'd probably go, well, how's your hip been doing? He'd give us a rundown on that. And then he'd probably say something else about how was Christmas. And then he'd get to, that's what made him special, though. But then he'd get to, you know how it is, anytime that you sometimes you just dart at people, you know, and then sometimes you kind of ease your way in. He always had that great ability to do that.
So with that, we are going to defer for the first question, Tom Murphy with the
All right,
Arkansas
Tom.
Democrat-Gazette
Yeah,
in honor of Bob.
that'd be great.
Appreciate you, Harold.
You bet.
And everything you do. Well, Sam, seeing what you see from the offense and in preparation for
Yeah.
the game, how comfortable do you feel that there's enough weapons, enough blockers, and what have you to get the job done?
We're thin. We're thin. I think everybody knows that we're thin. That doesn't mean we can't play, but we are thin. I tell you what, I'll be honest with you, I'm so excited to see some of these guys that we haven't seen necessarily on a Saturday, that the state of Arkansas, and to be honest with you, a lot of them, the ones that's popping on my mind right now are on offense, are from the state of Arkansas that we haven't seen. Kobe Branham, Brooks Edmondson, C.J. Brown, Maddox Lassiter, who's going to take a different role as a tight end a little bit more. Those guys love the University of Arkansas. They love the state of Arkansas. I'm just really excited to see them. This entire 10, 12, 15 days, we've been talking about everybody at some point, and including in here, got their opportunity. They did. And they can remember the day when something worked. They've been trying this, and they can remember the day when something worked. I used Greg Brooks when we beat Mississippi State, you know, where he was known but not well known, picked the pass, took it back for a touchdown. We won the game. I used Hudson Clark with the 3 picks against Ole Miss. Nobody really knew about Hudson Clark. Boy, after the 3 picks they did, somebody's going to step up. With that, your veterans have to play well around them, and then somebody will step up. But I'm really excited to see these guys play. We are thin. We in 12 personnel, we're thin. But we have enough out there, I believe, and we have a quarterback, and I think that's a big deal for us. I think we have enough out there offensively. We can move the football and score. You know, last time I believe we came here, we had 9 starters out. And then Rocket got hurt early, Tykees Crawford got hurt early, and we were sitting at 11, about a half a side starters out, and we found a way to win. But we found a way to win because we got early turnovers and we started really fast. So that probably needs to happen as well. Defensively, we're a little bit more veteran. You know, obviously Landon Jackson, Eric Gregory aren't here, but Quincy Rhodes has that opportunity to step up. And, of course, Miguel Mitchell, whom we redshirted, who was starting at some point, will return. So the bottom line about all this is that the guys that are here want to be here. They practice extremely well, extremely hard. They're excited to be here. They should be. It's an AutoZone Liberty Bowl. But they got Arkansas across the front of them. I feel like they'll play extremely hard for the state and for the university.
Sam, does this remind you any of the 20 season when you would go into weeks with like 50-something scholarship players? So are there any lessons that you learned that you're drawing?
You know, that's a great question. I talked to the team about this too. You know, we went to Mississippi State my first year as a head coach, and we didn't have this guy, this guy, this guy, that guy. And it wasn't the COVID guys, it was the quarantine people around them. You remember that? And we found out on Friday that we had 15, 18, I don't remember the number, Kyle, a whole bunch of guys not going. And I remember being on a plane and saying to myself, all we have is all we need. We've got this group of guys that we believe in, that believe in the Hogs. If they'll play hard, we hang on to football, we get a few turnovers, we can win. And so, yes, and I've spoke to the team about that as well. The guys, so it does remind me a little bit, and I think it made everybody a little bit better coach, knowing that you can't just have a corner, he has to play safety too. You know, he has to be available to play. And I think we learned a lot about that. We learned a lot about Zoom and things like that. But I do feel a little bit like that, and a little bit like when we won the Liberty Bowl 2 years ago.
Sam, Texas Tech doesn't have as many guys missing with their quarterbacks out with an injury, star receivers not playing, and I think both their coordinators are gone. Just how difficult is it preparing for a team with missing pieces, missing coordinators and stuff?
Very, and I think that's what, and I'm not going to speak for Coach. He's what a great coach he is. But for us, this was all about just preparing us because there is a lot of unknowns. We know they're very aggressive defensively. So, you know, both in a four-down line and in an odd front, we know they're very aggressive. So we moved a lot. We gave our guys a lot of looks. But for us, because of the unknown of what they have, I mean, we've also obviously seen them on tape, and they've seen us, and we've seen their new quarterback. You know, TCU, he played and all. But the bottom line is it's going to be how do we play, and if we can play well, we'll have an opportunity to win the game. And that's kind of how we went into this with all the different things going around the game and around the roster. Because it wasn't only losing some guys into the portal, it was bringing guys in from the portal. There was a lot going on, but it seems like we're here, aren't we? And we're going to play a great football game tomorrow night that we're blessed to be a part of.
I want to ask you about the running backs with Rodney Hill and obviously the role that he now has. How has his attitude maybe changed at practice?
Yeah, well, and I know you're not saying he had a bad attitude. I know that.
No, right.
I know that.
Yeah.
He's a great kid, and unfortunately, he's been hurt a lot this year. You know, you turn on the LSU Florida State game 2 years ago. Rodney was playing. I mean, in key spots. You know, obviously the touchdown he returned got called back. Has to bring some confidence. But he's always been a mature guy, but I have noticed that he feels like, okay, this is my opportunity, as we spoke of earlier. Tyrell Reed's done the same thing, and, of course, Braylon's been back and forth a little bit. But I think we've probably gotten 7 or 8 practices, maybe 6 or 7 practices out of Braylon as well. But Rodney and Tyrell are the guys that's been there the whole time, and we'll play those three guys, and the team has a lot of confidence in him as well.
What do you think this means for these guys who are playing for the last time, who didn't decide to opt out and are playing guys like Isaac Tesla?
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. That question right there hits home. You know, Hudson Clark, why is he playing? Because he loves the Hogs, he loves Arkansas, and he's excited as hell to be in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And those are the guys, and you look back at Jaden Johnson, and you know, you go on and on. Those guys are who you want to win it for. Those are the guys who you want to win the game. They came back, and make no mistake, and I know Texas Tech's the same way, bowl games are wonderful, every one of them. They're so much better when you win. It's a spark when you go into the off season and all those things. So you want to win it for those older guys, and you just have much respect for them out there at practice. Ty Broden, when they come back, Isaac Tesla, when they come back and they go, no, Coach, season's not done. I want to finish it with the team. Much respect for those guys.
Sam, is there any difference? I know you guys have played some teams with some really fast-paced offenses, Tennessee and Ole Miss. Is there anything you see different about, you know, Texas Tech's fast pace and what they do compared to those guys?
The only thing I could say there is that they can run the football. I mean, obviously, you know, an Ole Miss who is known for running the football as well. These guys will get in big formations on you. Can spread out of that. But this is a physical running football team. They also can throw the heck out of it. But they're great offensively. But the difference, if I'm answering the question, the difference is their formations, their personnel that they can go fast with.
And is there anything, a few weeks with no opponents in between, that you guys have been really working on, specifically with Taylor and his development, you know, with maybe some extra time, not having to focus on a specific opponent?
Well, Taylor's been beat up, you know, this year, and so part of our decision was to try to get him as healthy as we possibly can. But we're doing a few different things with him that I don't really want to talk about until after the game, but a few different things that we're going to see if it'll help the team score more points.
How much do you expect to actually use Shamar Easter at receiver? Do you think that might be like more of a permanent move for him?
From the 10 days, I would say that is the move for him. Honestly, that's what he played in high school. He just had a tight end by his name. So he's certainly in the game plan, and so we'll see how he plays and all that. See how much he plays. But we have a lot of. He's proven that we should trust him and be ready for him to go tomorrow night.
Hey, Sam, on Braylon Russell, he didn't play the last 3 games. I think he was dealing with a hamstring.
He was, yeah. Well, that and some other things too.
Is he healthier right now?
He is. He's healthy. He's healthy and has looked good and happy to be part of Arkansas but no, he had the hamstring and then, you know, another injury, and so he's healthy now. So he's back. We're gonna hand it to him.
You know, the difference between a winning record and a losing record is you know, the result of the game tomorrow. How important is it to have a winning record in terms of just having a better feeling about the season?
Yeah, you know, I've thought about that a lot. You know, that's part of coach's worry or concerns and all that. I just want to win. Having another winning season would be a lot better than not. I don't know that it's going to change the total outlook of what we can get accomplished next year. But the bottom line is we have a game tomorrow night and we want to win. And if we do, I think it'll feel really, really good. So it's a good question.
Sam, you elected to go with permanent captains at the end of the year. How do you think that played out, and are you close to having that announcement?
No. No. I think it did work out through the year, through the year. And I have not decided who the captains are going to be tomorrow yet. But I do think it meant something to those however many guys it was, 30 probably. We didn't quite have new for every single game, but probably 30, 32 guys. I think it meant a lot. And I'll be honest with you, go back and you look at the guys that were captains and how they played during the game, they played pretty good. And so maybe we'll make, 37 captains a game, next year. But we have not decided on who's the captains tomorrow yet, and have not decided who were the captains for the year yet, and we'll get back and figure that out.
You
Sam,
mentioned,
what's your number one concern going into the game tomorrow?
Start of the football game. How are we going to start? Not to say that if we don't start fast, but this team can put you in a hole pretty fast because of the pace and the talent that they have offensively. So we need to have a good start. The next thing would be we've got to hang on to football. Ball has to be. We cannot turn the football over, and so those two things would be the biggest concern for us to win.
Coach, you touched on it a little bit earlier about some of the young offensive guys with ties to Arkansas, but if you look at the other side of the ball and defensively, what do you like that you've seen out of someone like a Charlie Collins, who's got a lot to prove and play for over the next couple of years in the last couple of weeks leading up to this game?
Charlie, from recruiting him, and he's really, really a mature kid. And the game of football is very, very important to him. So he's obviously moved up the depth chart and will get a lot of game tomorrow night. So again, there's another Arkansas kid I'm excited about. Quincy Rhodes would be the other one over there on the other side. But Charlie's been very, very – he's had a really good year. And he came in and talked about redshirting and all that, and we ended up playing him a little bit more as it went on. But I think this has been a good year for him, and I think I'm hoping he'll have a really good night tomorrow night.
you mentioned Texas Tech's quarterback. He played quite a bit in the TCU game. Just kind of what are your impressions of him?
Can run and he can throw. I mean, I looked him up, and I think he had I want to say like 7,000 yards of throwing or something. And I don't know what it was, like crazy number. And so he definitely, and then now he's had all this time to practice with his team. He's very, very talented. And but what you saw against TCU is he can really run as well. So he's very concerning for us and very dangerous player, and I'm sure he's excited about his opportunity that he's going to get too.
Coach, you've talked about it a little bit, but just with all these guys who are going to get their first start, their first real chance, what has been your message to them leading into this game?
Everybody's got to start somewhere, and if you're ready and you're prepared and you're confident, you'll start pretty good. And so we've practiced a little bit different, maybe a little bit because of numbers, but, we went ones versus twos a lot more than what we would normally do that, just to let them get some confidence that they can compete and have success against better players, but I guess that's probably your answer.
Sam, are you still planning to be on the sideline tomorrow?
Yes, that's the plan.
Going back to the Missouri game, watching that in person from a different perspective, was there anything that stood out to you?
I liked it, to be honest with you. I felt like I could see the game much better. I could help more. I don't think that's where the head coach is supposed to be, but I did like it. I'd been up a season when I was at Cincinnati, when I was a tackle tight end coach there. But I could see things. The game seemed to slow down up there, and it felt like I could help a little bit more than what I did. But this season's been rough just simply because it's been a little bit, honestly, of survival on the sideline with my hip. and which is not fair to the team or anything. It's just when you're hurt, you're hurt. And but I do believe that I learned something up there about what to look for, and a little bit different than what it had been standing on the sideline. So hopefully I'll be a better coach tomorrow on the sideline from it.
The Texas Tech running back Brooks, I think he's here. He's like their career rushing leader.
1,500 this year, yeah.
So I guess they're anticipating he's going to play. What do you see out of him and his game, I guess?
A very physical, downhill guy, can outrun you, can run around, can run over you. Just a very physical, can make you miss guy that also can catch the ball out of the backfield. But you can feel leadership with him when he's on the. You can just feel him. You can feel that he's got a lot of leadership to him, and that right now, there's a lot of guys we're concerned about. He's the number one concern of our defense.
What's your impressions of Rodriguez, their linebacker, number 10?
Can do everything. I mean, the guy makes a lot of plays. I believe he's their leading tackler. Yeah, he is. And can run. I mean, he's really good, and a very, very good tackler, and seems to have an unbelievable amount of fun playing the game. He's their energy guy, and but really, really talented guy. He's the first guy on defense that stood out to us.
You mentioned Hammond's, their quarterback's high school stats. I'm curious, do you call some high school coaches in the Texas area, just, with minimal college film on him? How do you go about scouting a quarterback like that?
No, I mean, they're either going to they got so much offense. They got a lot of good things going on. We'll find out whether it's going to be RPO, whether it be more run with him than throw, or are they going to go 50-50? But no, we didn't really call any, or at least I didn't. Maybe Travis did, but you can see that the guy can do it all, so you got to prepare for it all.
We've seen Max Lasser quite a bit as a blocker. Tell us a little bit about, is he a guy that can catch the passes?
Oh, man. He can catch now. I mean, that guy's talented. Always happy, always physical. But he can really catch the ball. I was bragging on him so hard when Coach Petrino got here. Coach Petrino started calling him your boy, your boy, your boy, because that's all I ever did is talk about Lassiter, because I just think can be a really, really good player, and I love the kid. He's work ethic and all that. So be interested to see when his role expands tomorrow night is how he does. I believe he'll do well.
Anybody else?
I do want to say this, though. Rhodes College and the people at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Peabody, they've been great. And to be able to go over there, and I mean, they're treating us like somebody we probably aren't. But I do appreciate what they've done for us. And man, we haven't had anything here that said, "Oh man, I wish we'd have done something different. I wish we wouldn't have done that. I wish the kids have had a great time." And it's been as professional ran as you possibly can imagine. So really appreciative of all that.
Sam, before you go, since you kind of took the conversation there.
I didn't say anything about the portal.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah.
The bowls. Obviously, so much talk about the playoff, games even like ours that have been around for 66 years. How, from a coach's perspective, a person who has the perspective of years in the business, how important are the bowls still to coaches
Huge.
in college football?
Huge. I mean, it gives, even in this situation, we just talked about so many different guys who would not have this opportunity they're getting ready to have without bowl games. And you go back, and 2 years ago, I was fortunate enough to get the Liberty Bowl coach because we won. And you look down on that list, and there was Bear Bryant and Kirby Smart and all these guys on this list of guys who had brought their team here and won. And you go, man, this is pretty cool. And to see the kids after a bowl win is priceless. So we've got to figure all this stuff out in college football, and we've got some problems that will get fixed. But one of them is not getting rid of these bowl games. I think it's too valuable to the teams to find out a little bit more about whom they have, whether it's whom they have left or whatever that may be. And I want to make this very clear. We're going just like Coach is to win, and we've got who we have. And you will not hear me say, oh, well, we don't have. No, hell no. We got enough players here to go out and perform well, and that's the expectation. That's what we're going to do.
Coach, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
We're going to